Hi guys, Helen the Russian here. Uber and Lyft difference. That's what I want to talk about today. I mentioned it before, I've started just with Lyft. It was end of June, and I only do it in my spare time, but that actually makes it better for comparison purposes because when I say spare time, like say if I decided to dedicate 2 or 3 hours to driving, my goal is to have bums on the seats pretty much 100% of the time if possible, if not as close to 100% as possible. I don't want to be sitting doing nothing someplace waiting for the ride or driving aimlessly around. No, I need to be busy. So I did Lyft only for about 4 to 5 weeks, and wasn't just getting enough rides. I really wasn't. I mentioned that before. I remember that one time, it was a Saturday, the entire strip area was lit in pink on Lyft driver app, and I drove through entire strip. Took me nearly 45 minutes just because it was busy, heavy traffic plus the lights. I did not get one ride request. That's just not acceptable. I mean, I wasn't heartbroken over it. It's not that big of a deal, but you do your research, and hopefully, we all learn from others' mistakes. And I wish someone would make a video like that so I can see it then. Anyhow, so I decided to add Lyft to the equation, and it changed things dramatically. I have two phones. One phone is for Uber and one phone is for Lyft. I have both of them mounted on both sides of the wheel, and both of them, when I'm online, they both online. The minute I get ride request from one, before I even accept, I very quickly go offline on the other app. This way I don't have to miss the ride request from that, otherwise my acceptance rate would go down. So ultimately, between both, I have to say I get more requests on Uber, but that's probably for each 7 Uber rides, I get one Lyft ride, if we do statistics. But anyhow, today I want to talk about the difference in two apps. So I got to know them quite well, and honestly, there are good things and not so good things about both. I can't honestly say, oh, this one is so much better than the other one, because despite the fact that I don't get that many rides on Lyft, I still do, and between Uber and Lyft, it doesn't affect the money anymore. So we're talking about specifically what the app does. One thing straight away I liked about Uber when I joined it is that app has a built-in navigation, and what it means in practical terms, it turns into navigation straight away. The minute you accepted that ride request, it tells you exactly where to go and how to get there. Lyft is very different. They partnered with Waze, or you can also use Google navigation on it. But what it happens with that, once you accepted the ride request, it takes precious seconds to switch into navigation. And you don't think 10 seconds is a long time? Well, here's what happens. When you get the ride request, the app reads your GPS location, meaning it doesn't understand that you might be sitting in extreme left lane ready to make a left turn, or you're in the middle lane. It very well may want you to make sharp right turn, like out of the left turn lane. I mean, it doesn't really want you to do it, but to get where you need to go, that's what needs to get done. Or it needs you to take the very next turn, or if you're on the freeway, and I got pulled off the freeway quite a few times by both apps, it needs you to take that very first exit. And because there are precious seconds ticking and you don't know where you're going until you actually see it, you might blow by that exit, and now you're going to take extra 6 to 10 minutes to get where you need to go. And of course, we don't get paid for that time. That's why. So Uber, in my opinion, they have that done better. Lyft is a bit behind, but as I was listening to Uberman talking, by the way, definitely good thing to listen to. Uberman is great. He's been driving forever. He gives really good advice, and he stays right on the top of all things Uber and some things Lyft. So definitely look him up on YouTube. Anyhow, he just said that there was a big announcement, and Google just invested $1 billion in Lyft. This is huge. I'm very much looking forward to Lyft doing a lot of things with it. One of them hopefully will be make some improvements with the app. So Lyft, however, had up until very recently, that just changed, but before then, Lyft had very good multiple stop system built into the app when the passenger just can add the stops, so the driver can see all the stops they're gonna make. He gets paid, he knows exactly what's happening, and obviously you're not getting any ride requests while you're doing that. So that was fantastic. Uber, up until just a few days ago, they just changed it. Supposedly they're now doing it exactly as Lyft does, but before, what was happening is you get a passenger and they go, oh, we actually need to go to several places, and they will put one destination in, the first one. So you drive them there, and then they change the destination and you drive them to the next one, and the next one if there is one. In the meantime, it gets quite complicated. It's unclear. It changes your navigation, especially if you don't know where you go. Like if you're not familiar with destination and they change it just before you arrived, well, it takes away your navigation. You have to listen to them and believe that they're telling you the right way to get there. So that was an issue, but apparently Uber just changed that. Uber always had your actual money showing, meaning that's your earnings that you're actually getting into your bank. For a while, when I first started, Lyft was showing you gross, meaning the Lyft cut would be taken out of it. So you had in your head, you had to calculate that your amount is going to be smaller than that. But Lyft changed that now, so that's good. That I'm quite happy that you look at it, you can click on your earnings tab, and straight away you see exactly how much money you have up till this minute. Although I have to say, I don't know if it's just me, with Uber, few times it happened, well, maybe a dozen times, you'll complete a ride and I go into the earnings and it says calculating the last trip fare, and sometimes it takes quite a bit of time. It's not that you don't get your money, ultimately you do get it, but you can't see it straight away, and I'm not really sure what that it's all about and whether or not it's only for Las Vegas, but it is what it is, and not particularly happy with it. I want to see how much I made on that fare the minute I completed it and finished the ride. I don't want it to keep rolling around, going calculating or adding up the fare, and that could be go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes one time. So that's not particularly good thing. I find Lyft support is better than Uber's. I have to give it to them hands down. It might change, but at this stage, Lyft is better. There were quite a few. They actually read what you write to them and they respond. And in the cases when they don't, they, based on your merit, they might give things to you. Like I'll give you an example. A couple of times I written to Lyft because I felt I was entitled to cancellation fee. And I went into a great deal of trouble explaining exactly what went on. Mind, that was after I already had a few hundred rides under my belt. And almost instantly I got a message saying, because you're a good driver, we will give you that cancellation fee. So that's nice. People don't think it's much, but it adds up here and there. $5 here, $5 there. Before you know it, there is $10, $15, $20 in there. So that was good. Uber, I find a couple of times I wrote to Uber. They give you this canned response, meaning it's automatic response. It looks like it's written by the person, but it's not. It's just someone. I don't even think someone pushed the button. It just came through, saying blah blah blah. It's all good. So meaning they're not looking into it and they're not ruling in your favor. They just basically directing you to the website where it talks about how and why you get your cancellation fee. Well, I'll know all that. I'll look into it. The reason I'm writing to you is because I feel I didn't get it and I'm entitled to it. And one time when I persisted, they still didn't give it to me, and I really felt I was entitled to it. The passenger was definitely mucking me about. Whether willingly or not, I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't doing it deliberately, but the point being, late at night, he had me come to one place and I was sitting right on the pin. Right on the pin. And the street was deserted. It was industrial area. That was very clear he wasn't there. And then I canceled the ride, and then not even a minute later, exactly same passenger requested the ride 2 blocks down the road. 2 big blocks. So he couldn't possibly be at 2 places at once, and he wasn't at the second one either. So, and Uber said, well, after reviewing, we feel that everything was you're not entitled to it. Which I respectfully disagree, but it is what it is. And then a couple of times that I went into Uber Hub, especially last time, they seriously did. I have to say Lyft Hub is much better in Las Vegas. It really is. They're better staffed. It's the entire big office space dedicated just to Lyft. There are quite a few people there. They're quite happy to talk to you, answer your questions. It's a whole lot better organized. Uber is, at least in Green Valley, I haven't gone to Summerlin one, I don't know what's up with that one, but in here they actually subletting a desk from a Sprint store. So you're really going to a Sprint store, the phone store, and then there is a little desk for Uber. And there are two girls behind the desk and one mechanic. And girls are honestly, girls, if you're listening, I doubt you do, but no offense, you absolutely, I know you don't get paid much, but get another job because you're clearly not happy there. They disinterested, they unhelpful, they can care less, they don't want to explain anything. I actually been there 3 times, and all 3 times I had exactly the same experience. Last time, it was absolutely outrageous. They wasted nearly an hour of my time, and my time, honestly, my time is precious. It is. I work hard. There are a lot of things I need to get done, and in the middle of the afternoon, what I thought was going to be about 10-minute thing turned into an hour. And she wasn't communicating properly. At first, she didn't tell me the truth, which is why it ended up being an hour. And I wasn't happy. And so I written, again, good example, I written to Uber, and they sent me a canned reply that had nothing to do with the content. So I actually written back and saying, it's very clear that no one actually read the email. And then they written me another one going, well, thank you for expressing your concern. We appreciate it, which I don't think they read the second one either. So that's basic difference. As far as money, I know everybody wants to know about money. Honestly, both platforms, at the end of the day, you get paid about the same as far as actual pay. So if you compare apples to apples, like ride to ride, about the same duration, whatnot, you get about the same money. There is no difference. But like I said, at this stage, Uber is ruling in terms of you get more rides on it. But in view of this recent information, that $1 billion influx into Lyft, things might change. I know Lyft have been advertising and promoting quite aggressively in Las Vegas. They did Lyft Dragon Car in July in downtown. They did few other things. In fact, at one point they put a supposedly Lyft driver, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but he definitely got sponsored to say what he said about Lyft, because his numbers just were not adding up. I mean, he looked like a nice guy, and he probably made a little money, which is good on him. I'm happy he made money. But no, the earnings he was describing, no, not even remotely possible. But it's a good example. So Lyft have been advertising. Anyhow, hopefully that gave you a good idea and help you make a decision as far as which platform to go with. Honestly, like I said, personally, I recommend both. But if you feel it's not possible and it's all about making as much money and as many rides as you can in a given time, at this stage, Uber is ahead of the game, which is, like I said, might change. All right, you have a nice evening and we'll talk soon.